Mary Jo White is the person who's been nominated to run the Securities and Exchange Commission. It's, of course, a very important position that will oversee the banks and make sure to keep them in check. She used to be the head of the Southern District Attorney's Office in New York, which is one of the most important DA's office in the whole country. And there, she was supposed to be a tough regulator. Laugh along with me. Now, she did go after mob bosses, etc., but she wouldn't go after her own bosses, the people who wound up hiring her for a decade after that job. Of course, those were the bankers. Those were the untouchables, the real untouchables. Now, late last week, Attorney General Eric Holder had already told us that these banks are simply too big to jail. Remember this?
I am concerned that the size of some of these institutions becomes so large that it does become difficult for us to prosecute them when we are hit with indications that if you do prosecute, if you do bring a criminal charge, it will have a negative impact on the national economy, perhaps even the world economy. And I think that is a function of the fact that some of these institutions have become too large.
So there we have the Attorney General of the United States saying, I'm not necessarily taking into account how guilty they are, what criminal actions they've taken, but I'm taking into account, will it hurt the economy according to other people in the White House and other experts, etc. And even if they're guilty, I might not go after them because of that. That is an outrageous admission. Now, is Mary Jo White going to admit similar things? You betcha. Here she is yesterday in Senate hearings.
When I see the testimony of the Attorney General before the Judiciary Committee when he was asked in this field, as the potential chair of the SEC, give me your thoughts on what you would do in that regard in terms of when you found wrongdoing, assuming you found wrongdoing, what would you do?
At the SEC, which of course doesn't have the criminal powers, those collateral consequences are not taken into account before charging decisions are made. But federal prosecutors are instructed by DOJ, Department of Justice policy. They have a long line of factors to consider, and one of them is the collateral consequences of a criminal indictment to innocent shareholders, employees, or the public. And certainly prosecutors should consider that before proceeding, but that doesn't necessarily dictate a no decision.
That's amazing. She just said at the Department of Justice, we consider not only what effect it has on the national economy and the world economy, which is not a legitimate consideration at all. That's not your department. You're not the Treasury Department. You're not supposed to be the protector of these banks. You're supposed to actually go after them at the Department of Justice if they've done something wrong, if they've broken the law. But she even says we have to take care of the shareholders. We have to take into account the well-being of the shareholders. What? Can you imagine if you're charged with a crime and you go in front of the judge and you say, look, man, I got a family to take care of. You got to think about them too. They're, in essence, my shareholders. They would be affected. And you put somebody's dad away, somebody's mom away. You think that that family's not going to get dramatically affected? Of course. Now, do they take that into consideration? Hell no. They don't give a damn about that. But wait a minute. How about the shareholders who would lose a couple of dollars or maybe a lot of money if we actually prosecuted and did our job and went after the bankers? By the way, who are the shareholders? Do you know that 2/3 of the people who own stock are in the top 5%? So they always say like, it's all Americans and the 401ks, et cetera. No. 2/3 of the stock that's owned, I should say, is held by just the top 5% in wealth of Americans, okay? They're protecting the rich. And they're finding excuses to protect the bank executives. So when you were with the Department of Justice at the DA's office, did you take that into consideration? Well, that's what Sherrod Brown, the senator from Ohio, asked.
A number of questions. If you would try to do yes or no on the first two or three, because they're pretty simple questions. When you were U.S. Attorney, my understanding is you consulted Bob Rubin and Larry Summers when considering whether to bring charges against financial firms. Is that correct?
I actually consulted the Deputy Attorney General who had Mr. Summers call me back. I was asking a factual question.
And did they reject the argument that institutions could not be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law?
I'd like to answer that yes or no, but I can't.
Okay.
I mean, essentially, I was seeking information based on an argument that had been made by the lawyers for the institution that I ultimately indicted. as to whether an indictment of that institution would result in great damage to either the Japanese economy or the world economy. And the answer that I got back is I should proceed to make my own decision, which I took to mean that it would likely not have that impact.
Why is she asking that question? Isn't that an amazing question? I've got somebody who broke the law here. Let me call the Treasury Department and ask him how it would affect the Japanese economy. The Japanese economy? Oh, I got a criminal over here, but how's it going to affect the Japanese? That is not the appropriate question for a prosecutor to ask. And I should clarify, she was a U.S. attorney, of course, in the Southern District of New York. Again, that's one of the most important districts because it's in the heart of the financial capital of the United States. And so she apparently went to the Treasury Department often and said, should I prosecute, should I not prosecute? Of course, she says, well, I was just asking factual questions about how it would affect the economy. Well, in that case, I happen to indict anyway. Oh, are you not merciful? And how much did you really pursue it? And did you do a plea? Did you get a lot less than you could because you were worried about the Japanese economy? A whole different set of rules for you and I and for the bankers and for the rich and the powerful, whether they're here in the U.S. or in Japan or anywhere else. Everybody in the country should be up in arms about this two different justice system. And the fact that we brazenly have an attorney general, now somebody who's going to be the head of the SEC, the former head of the criminal division, Lanny Brewer, said the same exact thing. Worried about too big to jail, we couldn't go after some of the bankers because of what it would do to the economy. They're flat out admitting it. The biggest law enforcement officers in the country saying, we will prosecute you, but we will not prosecute the bankers. This isn't a democracy, man. This is a sham. This is something we should all be in the streets for. And the band plays on. And are any of the senators or politicians or the president outraged? The president is the one who nominated all these people. And the Senate is the one that confirmed them all. And will they confirm Mary Jo White? They will do it gladly. Why? They all work for the same people. The bankers, the donors, the lobbyists, the special interests.